Have you ever been asked to donate to a charitable cause, but then you thought to yourself, why should I be the one that does that? Or maybe you like the idea of helping people, but you have questions and you wonder things like, what cause do I choose? Or how can I possibly give to someone else when I'm really just worried about my own future? Maybe today, the thought of giving to someone else seems totally ridiculous because the only thing that's on your mind is, how do I stay positive in a world full of negativity and insecurity and fear? Well, before we dive in today, I want to share a little secret with you. A giving person is usually a happy person. And I'm going to show you a little bit more about why that is later on in the video. First, I want to give you 4 easy steps that will help answer your questions about giving and practical things that can make giving even easier, especially during times of struggle in your own life. I'm going to show you how a lifestyle of giving and optimism are actually deeply connected. A genuine giving attitude, it not only impacts someone else's life, that's obvious, but it also has a powerful effect on your own ability to think and feel positively about your own life. Finally, I'm going to give you some insight into what I think is the ultimate source of retaining a lifelong giving attitude, especially during times of trouble. Hello, my name is Faith Woods, and here at Mission Partners, we strive to rescue people from physical, emotional, and spiritual poverty in Ukraine and Belarus. And we also want to help people who connect with us, people like you, to be encouraged, to be motivated for good, and to find purpose in their own relationship with God. If you like our videos, just to hit the subscribe button below and you can enjoy some more content from us. I think we all understand the value of people who are givers. In fact, we've probably all been the beneficiary of, someone in our life sometime in the past who, sacrificed and gave something for our sake. Just pause for a second and think about the meaningful people in your life. Maybe it's your parents or family or friends or maybe a pastor. You probably wouldn't be where you are today without some of those people. Feel free to share a story in the comments below about someone who has been instrumental in your life. And more than that, I think most of us want to be the kind of people who help others. But why is that so hard sometimes? Well, maybe you don't know how or what cause to choose, or even who to trust. That's a legitimate concern. And many of us have, really busy lives, and we just never get around to developing the habit of giving. Certainly during times of anxiety or fear or stress, it's even more difficult to give because I think our natural human impulse is to kind of withdraw and protect ourselves. Now, there's no doubt that we're living in days where, the world is uncertain, and there's actually more uncertainty than there is certainty in the world today. And I understand the impulse to want to kind of hunker down and ride out the crisis and slip into that self-protection mode. So, why should you push past all of those questions and answer those challenges to reach out and help other people? Well, I want to get back to my little secret. Regular givers are actually happy, contented people. Multiple studies have shown that our brain literally secretes feel-good chemicals like dopamine and oxytocin when we give. Givers live longer, have healthier lives than those who don't. And it seems as if we were actually, designed by our Creator on a physiological level to give. So, if you want to find a more positive way through difficult and challenging times, become a giver. No, it's really not going to solve all of your problems, but it will dramatically affect your, ability to have a positive outlook on your own life. So here are my 4 easy and practical tips to incorporate giving into your life. These are ways that you can become a giver despite having tough times in your own life. And I can guarantee you that as you listen carefully and walk through these steps with me, you will already feel energized and motivated, and that you'll already feel more positive about your own life. So tip number 1, find a cause that motivates you. Simple, right? Ask yourself what problem in the world that you've always wanted to help be the solution for. Maybe you feel sad when you hear about children who are living in poverty, or maybe you feel horrified by people living on the street, especially during the wintertime. Or maybe you're shocked and alarmed by the rise in human trafficking, and you really wish that someone would just do something to protect those young girls. Or maybe you love animals and you hate to see them abused or abandoned. Maybe you are a community-minded person and you know a family down the street that's, fallen on hard times. Or maybe you're a God-fearing person that just really wants to see the gospel spread around the world. Now, I want you to take 30 seconds and I want you to think carefully. I'm sure if you think carefully, you can find at least one thing that really makes you feel passionate. That's all I'm asking right now, just one thing that really motivates you, and I want you to write it down on a piece of paper. You can always share it in the comments below. So, did you write down your one thing? Later today, after the video, I want you to take that and I want you to put it on your fridge or your desk or somewhere you can see it all the time. So, tip number 2, do your research. For all of the issues and causes that I mentioned earlier, there are numerous local and international agencies that are already working to solve those issues. So now that you've found out what your one thing is, the next step is to find an agency that is already doing that thing. The research takes a little time, but it's not difficult. All you have to do is open up your web browser and do a really quick search, and you should really come up with a number of different agencies that are available for you to partner with. Now, I know that trust is something that's really hard to come by these days, and that's a legitimate concern. So for your own peace of mind, make sure you do thorough research. That means that you read through the agency's website, you look up their social media, even call them on the phone. Any legitimate agency should be more than willing to answer any questions that you might have about what they're doing, and they should have concrete stories of the impact that they're having. Obviously, if what moves you is, a family in your own neighborhood, then a web search isn't going to be necessary in that case. But let's say that what you're interested in is helping low-income families in your own community or your own city. Another possible source of information could be a local church. They can often connect you with families that are in need, and they're usually a reliable resource. So, tip number 3, don't procrastinate. Procrastination is the easiest thing in the world to do. We do it all the time. Life can be busy, and when things are uncertain or when you're worried about your own life, sometimes it's just easier to focus on getting through your week. Maybe you tell yourself that, I will get to the giving when, my life is more stable, or I have more money, or I have a better job. All of those are things that we tell ourselves to, put off what we should really be doing. Now, I'm not against saving or working towards stability in your life. I do those things, and you should too. But ultimately, I choose to put my trust in God, for my future, and He's really never let me down. And when I do that, and when I focus on the things that I have, and instead of what I don't have, I find that the truth is I really do have something to give. And we all do. We all have something that we can share, however small. There are no such thing as small gifts, only small givers, small hearts. So make a commitment to yourself today to find your cause, do your research, and discover the ways that you can help. So that brings me to tip number 4. It's not all about the money. Often giving includes money in some way. Obviously, that's true. But what I want to make really clear here is that it doesn't have to. There's a lot of things you can give. You can give your time, your energy, your expertise to many people around you all the time. Something as simple as, shoveling your elderly neighbor's driveway in the wintertime. That's just as valuable as writing some big check. In some ways, it's more valuable because you're sharing a relationship. The point is to give of yourself. Remember, those people that impacted your life that we talked about earlier? Just think about where your life would be if they hadn't been there. You can be that for someone else. You can be the person to help that family in poverty, or run an errand for that senior, or volunteer at that agency, or give that donation to the charity that, desperately needs every single dollar. So that brings me to what I believe is the ultimate source for a lifelong giving attitude. Yes, giving makes us feel fantastic, but what goes deeper than those happy feel-good brain chemicals? You may disagree with me, and that's okay, but for me, the foundation of my own giving journey is deeply rooted in my faith. Yes, my name is Faith, but that pun isn't intended in this case. I serve a living Christ, and He made the ultimate sacrifice for me. My heart's grateful for a God that not only made the way of salvation for me, but He actually filled my life with joy and purpose. And part of that means giving back to others. It doesn't mean that I don't have struggles or stress like we all do, but my faith in Christ, it grounds me. And it gives me assurance that I wouldn't otherwise have. I may not be rich, I may not know what tomorrow will hold, but what I do know is I don't ever want to take what I have for granted. And I want my life to count for more than just my own survival and existence. It makes me want to make this world a better place. Faith in Christ can do that same for you, and so much more. So, do you feel the same way that I do? Are you grateful for, the things that you have and the things that God's given you? Do you want to make your life count for something? Do you want to live a life of giving back? We don't know, what's going to happen tomorrow. But what I do know that is if you adopt a pattern of lifelong giving, and even during times of fear and uncertainty, you'll never ever regret it. And you can start today. If you would like to learn more information on how Mission Partners helps people who are experiencing physical or spiritual poverty in Ukraine and Belarus, you can just visit mpiconnect.org. You can subscribe to our e-newsletter right there on our website. Remember also to subscribe to our channel. We can't wait to connect with you. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.